Cheryl Erickson, and I'm the Indigenous focused ECE instructor with Louis Riel Vocational College. Today in Chapter 1 of Child and Family Diversity, we're going to talk about the child in context of family and community. But before we get started, I just want to remind you to please read Chapter 1, as this video is not a replacement for your chapter readings. So when we look at the child in context of their family, different things come to mind, and first and foremost is family is a structure of a contextual lens. And so when we look at each individual child, they are the center of that context, and it's very important that we include family as we care for a child. So I've said before in other videos, as we care for the children, we're also caring for their family. And so when we look at that child in the center of their family, that involves culture, race, socioeconomic levels, immigrant status, and community. So a few different things we'll look at. And we also look at family under Bronfenbrenner's Bioecological model. And we did discuss this model a few times in other lessons. And so basically, Bronfenbrenner's Bioecological model has different systems: the microsystem, the macrosystem, the exosystem, the mesosystem, and the chronosystem. And when you look at those systems, those different interactions that families have and children have within their families, within those different systems, really shape how a child looks and evolves through life, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And so just having said that, think about an example you might have of things that have impacted you within those different types of systems. Some of the key points when you look at Bronfenbrenner's systems as well is that the child is always at the center. The child is always an active recipient within those different systems. And those interactions go both ways. Also, when we look at caring for children and caring for their families, we call this a family-centered approach. And why do we want to have a family-centered approach within our environment? And really that is because if we as ECEs work with the parents, work with the families, it makes that child's transition into the center more comfortable. Children will feel a little insecure, and they won't feel that safety factor if they're just dropped off at the center without any parent, staff, child type of connection. So really we're helping them to be more ready emotionally, and that takes place when we connect with the parents. We talk to the parents, we tour the parents with the child in that environment, and we bring the parents into our environment by asking them to not only share as much information, but really to participate where they can. So we essentially work with the families to offer the best care that we can give the child. They know that child best. We also work with families in the hopes to improve the home, the neighborhood, the community, by becoming involved there as well. Typically, centers are located in the community where children live. So we're a big part of that community, and we get to learn about our neighbors too. So not only are the children neighbors, but maybe parents have interactions with things that are happening with our neighborhood. They could work in the neighborhood as well. We want to work with families as well to promote children's success in the daycare as well as children's success for future education. So defining that family approach, it's supporting families and parents. It could be making those community connections, whatever types of workshops or teaching types of practices we can have within our environment, we can include those parents. And those fun family get-togethers as well, we really want to promote as a really great opportunity to connect with families. We see parents as a really important part of the child's education and socialization process, not only in our environment, but also daycare is usually the first step in that education process. So we want it to be a really positive process for the families to be involved with, and that makes that next leap into school a little bit less challenging. Some of the benefits of family-centered approach, it helps a child to build trust and self-confidence. So those initial connections that we're going to have with the parents that teach some socialization, we have some good rapport and establish a relationship, makes that comfortable for the child. And they see that role modeling and realize that, oh, if mom and dad feel that the daycare is a good place and they're comfortable, then it eases that child's transition a little bit better, and they can be a little bit more comfortable as well. It's setting the tone of it being a safe place. Sharing that knowledge about the child and their individual needs helps ECEs care for that child better. And if there's good rapport and the child is benefiting and things are going well and the transition is good and the child is learning and growing, it's going to make us as ECEs feel like we're doing a good job. That job satisfaction comes into place as well. So we want to know that what we're teaching that child is benefiting, we're sharing our knowledge, they're learning and growing, developing, and we're communicating, we're building that rapport, and that's helping to build those positive relationships. So that's a really important piece, that connection with families for children to really be comfortable in that transition into daycare. We also want to look at that family system lens as well. So, you know what, each family is going to be different. Each family is going to be unique. And each family works a little bit different. So getting to know about that family and learning about that family, we learn about the different roles that take place within that family and how that family functions, how they work together, right? How they're connected. Each family member will influence the other, and they are all influenced by that family system, in which culture plays a huge part within that system. And so, for an example, if you're having, say, a behavioral challenge with the child, you're not really going to be able to change that behavior just on your own. You're going to have to work with the family. You're going to have to talk to the family about that. And the family is going to have to want to work with you to change it. And sometimes the way, children behave the way they are because maybe it's something to do within the system. Within their system. So you're not going to be able to change it until you work with the family and figure out, the best solution to move past that. So families are very much, connected, very much connected. The family system theory lens is built on 6 systems when you consider working with families. So there's boundaries, there's roles, there's rules. Every family has a hierarchy, kind of the more dominant leader per se of the family, and the climate of the family makes a big impact on how that system functions. We also look at the child, the whole child lens. And so when we want to, when we're caring for children, we want to consider that each child is unique. The child is made up of a mind, of body, of feelings. That's the whole child. And again, you know, one system is tied to the other, and you can't separate intellect with emotions with a young child as well. That's basically how they're learning and growing. When we look at meeting needs in the family systems as well, we revisit Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And so Maslow's hierarchy of needs stipulates that basic needs must be met before growth can go any further. So families and childcare centers need to make these basic needs possible. So air, food, rest, clothing, shelter, those are all the basic needs of life. And so if those needs aren't met, you don't have that safe, secure, emotional, good structure of emotional comfort met. And so therefore any learning it's very hard to take place. You're always going to be thinking about when I'm going to eat next, where I'm going to sleep, and so on. You're not going to focus on growth and development. Culture as a lens. So when we look at family, we look at how important that culture is. Culture is ever present and is often unacknowledged and always in effect. And so we really need to embrace the importance of culture for each child. When we look at each child as being unique, culture follows under that unique umbrella as well. And so culture affects us in many different ways. It's the way we think, how we perceive things, culture, how we behave, and culture is how we interact with others. So really important things to think about when you're viewing families, when you're looking at them through that cultural lens. So that was just a brief summary of, family-centered approaches, how we view children as well under that contextual family and community umbrella. If you have any questions regarding Chapter 1, please do see your instructor for further clarification. And also just check in to make sure you haven't missed any handouts or assignments pertaining to Chapter 1.